Hello and welcome back to Film Posers for Boricuas ranting, raving, and reviewing cinema. Today on our YouTube channel, we are going to be reviewing White Lie, and our moderator will be Ana Sofia. Take it away.
So, the film White Lie is written and directed by Jonah Lewis and Kelvin Thomas, and the movie is about Katie Anderson. She is a university student who fakes cancer diagnosis for the attention and financial gain, but gets caught up in having to maintain her lie. Starting Casey Roll, where if you don't know, she plays Abigail Hobbs in NBC's Hannibal, Amber Anderson, and Martin Donovan. So, we see the main protagonist that she clearly is a pathological liar. I particularly wasn't rooting for Katie at all. She is the character that I actually didn't sympathize, but rather I was more invested on the length and how far she will go through to not get herself caught, from faking documents to actually making herself feel sick. And even she managed to lie to everyone in social media. So the movie did make me feel a bit anxious because of the character decisions and the lies that she did throughout the whole movie. So I thought Casey Roll did a great performance embodying a very complex character, and Amber Anderson, that actually plays Katie's girlfriend, also did a pretty good job. But for me, I was more sympathetic with the girlfriend rather than the actual main character. So, what do you guys think about Katie's situation and her as a person?
So, the only performance I really wanted to comment on during this review was Casey Roll's performance because the film revolves around her as Katie Arneson. And while other performances were really good, like the girlfriend, the way you mentioned, I really liked how Casey was able to create a character that you do not root for, but you want to know what's going to happen next, because I could not stop. I remember I started watching this film at night and I was like forcing myself to stop because I needed to go to sleep, but I wanted to know what's going to happen next. So from an acting standpoint, I believed Casey as Katie, and it was just so nerve-wracking. I was so mad at her. So job well done as character and as an actress.
Okay. What about you, Gabriela?
I agree with what Josie said, but also I really liked how from the beginning the film doesn't hide what Katie's trying to do. Like it just starts and it's like you immediately know that she's lying. And I really like that because at no moment the film tries to make us sympathize with her. You see from the very beginning that she's lying, and it's very wrong, especially faking an illness like cancer. Like, don't do that. That's horrible. And I also think it speaks a lot about the health system in the States specifically because they were in Canada, if I'm not mistaken, because obviously like healthcare there works different than healthcare in the United States. So she clearly saw that in order for her to be able to make all the money that she wanted, she had to say that it was in the States because obviously it's more expensive there and she would gain more money, which was very sad and it was so wrong. And yeah, I didn't like her character at all, but I did want to know what happened. I did want to know if she was able to pull it off. And the way I could describe watching this film at one point, it was like Uncut Gems.
That's what I was saying too. Okay, so yesterday, while I was watching it, a couple of friends of mine were talking about Uncut Gems, and then I piped in like, hey, you want to know what's another anxiety-inducing film? White Lie. Check it out. Because it definitely, I haven't seen Uncut Gems yet, but the way you both have described it before, it definitely made me feel the way I think Uncut Gems is.
Yeah, so in Uncut Gems, you know that he needs to stop doing what he's doing, and you're the entire like stop. And I felt the same way in White Lie. You need to stop doing this, but at the same time, you can't help but be like, but is she going to pull it off? Like, is she going to be able to do this? I kind of want to see. her pulling it off, because obviously I feel like we all know the consequences of if she didn't pull it off. We would know that, you know, she would lose everything, she could probably go to prison. But what would be the consequences if she were to pull it off? And how would she keep going if, you know, everything worked in her favor? That was kind of what I wanted to see, and I liked how the film kind of goes that route.
So another quick detail I wanted to add before we move on is that I found it very interesting that you never really know what her purpose is, what is her motivation, and that leads to her being an unsympathetic character. Because if you could relate to her motivation, then you would feel sympathy for her. And at no time, unless I missed it, I'm pretty sure that you mostly know that she wants the money for a scholarship, but then she's using that money to forge all these documents and everything. So you never really know what the purpose of it is. Especially there's a scene where she talks to her father and we don't learn anything about her past or anything. Usually those moments are key in helping you understand the character. And with Katie, all we know is what we see during the film. So I thought that was very interesting because clearly you're not supposed to sympathize with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a character that in the middle of the movie, she even believes her own lie.
Yeah.
She thinks she's sick.
Yeah, with the scar in her arm, how she kept mentioning that the scar was from a surgery rather than just like a fall that she had when she was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna disagree on that. I don't think she's actually believing that she is sick, but I do think that she believes that she is in the right, especially when she gets mad at the doctor because a family member passed away, and she sends him a very angry voicemail. And at that moment, I was like, okay, this girl is actually dangerous. This isn't just someone doing something for the heck of it. She is a dangerous pathological liar that needs to be stopped.
Yeah. But also the thing that you mentioned about the money, how she was getting money from donations, but she was spending it to get, you know, all the fake documents and all that. So, like, what would be left over? Would it be, like, enough that it would have been worth it for her to be able to pull it all off? So, and what was she going to do, you know, if she got to go to Seattle? Because that was her goal. She wanted to go to Seattle for some treatment. Like, what is she going to do there? Because it's not like as in medical trials, you get money. They just treat you.
She needed to forge documents for the scholarship. So then she needed to pay the person for the documents, and to get that money, she made up the whole Seattle thing to get money from her dad. And then, yeah, that's spoiler territory, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah, it's just that the Seattle, I kind of got confused. I thought that she really wanted to go to Seattle.
In summary, it's a wild ride.
Yeah.
Now that we're going on spoiler territory, we're going to talk about the ending. Now, I did find myself a bit annoyed by the end of the film because it sets you up with a good concept, it has a good execution, but it has a very ambiguous ending that some viewers might not like. I personally wasn't satisfied with the ending, and I think they should have explored more a bit about her consequences of her actions. So, what do you guys think about the ending? Josie, what do you think about the ending?
So, I'm in the middle. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I do understand how the ambiguity could be annoying, but I somehow feel it was an appropriate ending for this film because we are seeing her juggling so many things and coming out of it kind of unscathed. There will be consequences later on, and that is what it's alluding to. But this is a person that is clearly getting away with everything that has been thrown in her direction. So the only thing that I think could be done was let the viewers imagine what will happen. But I do understand how not having closure can be annoying because I personally didn't want to see her get in trouble, but the reaction from the girlfriend is enough to let you know that after that interview, sorry for swearing, shit's about to go down.
What about you, Gabriela?
No, yeah, I agree. I like the ending because I do like and tend to enjoy ambiguous endings, and this was definitely one of those. And I do understand why people would be annoyed. I myself found myself, a little bit annoyed by it because I felt like we could have used like an extra 5 minutes or something. But I did like how it ended there because yeah, like Josie said, like you can only imagine that shit is going down after the credits roll. But yeah, like I'm not completely wowed by the ending. I'm just like, okay, that was the ending. It ended like that. And yeah, I do feel sorry for her girlfriend because obviously she had all the good intentions to help her. She wanted to support her and she was completely using her, and that's just sad that she had a supportive partner and she was just using her.
Yeah, that's why in the beginning of the review I said that I sympathize more with the girlfriend because
Yeah.
she started her whole campaign. She gave her money. She was
Yeah.
there all the time, and it's like she didn't care. The main character, she didn't care. She just wanted like everything for her own benefit.
Mhm.
But at the end, at least the only like good thing that we can see is that she left. The girlfriend
Yeah.
left a toxic relationship that it's clearly not good for her.
But even then, we don't know if she actually left her or if she just stood up for something.
I think she left.
She left.
Yeah.
You couldn't see her in her face.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Especially because we didn't get to see the interview because we've already heard her lies so much, which I found a very interesting thing that they did from a directing standpoint, from a story standpoint. The fact that we stopped hearing her lies and we only focused on the girlfriend, I think that was a very good part about that ending, which is leads to why I liked it. Because in the end, it's about the girlfriend. It's not about her. It's about the people that she's hurt, which I think was a good perspective to leave us on.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like it was, that the only one who needed to see the lie and hear everything once more was her for her to realize that she was being played.
Yeah, especially since the dad tried to communicate with her at the beginning and then Katie deleted the message.
Yeah.
So she finally got the message technically.
Yeah.
So to end this review, what are your final thoughts on the film, starting with Josie?
So I actually do recommend this film because it was well acted. It had an interesting premise. It had a promising story despite the end. I do think that people are going to like this film, and yeah, it's an interesting time. I wouldn't say it's a 100% a good time because it is kind of a sad story depending on how you look at it, but it can also be a happy ending if she actually did realize what was going on and she left, because that's all we want for her. We want her to be okay. We want the girlfriend to be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recommend this film.
Okay, what about you, Gabriela?
Yeah, I do recommend it too. It's definitely a very interesting story, and I really like how we don't have a character that you sympathize with in terms of like the main character, which is Katie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also very interesting to see how far she was willing to go to keep that lie, and how everything turns worse and worse throughout the film, kind of like Uncut Gems, although not as Uncut Gems or another Safdie Brothers movie, because if you've seen those, then you know that you basically need Xanax by the end of it. So this one, it's not like that, but it's still, I was invested in wanting to know if she was going to be able to pull it off. So I think it's kind of that it's also like 90 minutes that it's like a good time to spend 90 minutes. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. It's very well acted, it's very well directed. So yeah, I do recommend it.
Anna, what were your thoughts?
I really like the performances. I was just a bit annoyed throughout the whole story, but I think it's on purpose because she is a very unlikable character, and I generally just like really wanted her to suffer the consequences of it. But I do recommend it, even though that the ending just wasn't for me. But it's just a wild ride, I guess.
And that is all for our White Lie review. Please check out this film. We 100% recommend it. It is also now available to stream on demand. We will include the platforms where you can stream the film in the description box below. Other than that, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Follow us at Film Posers on all our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Again, thank you for listening, and remember, we're all film posers. Bye.
Bye.